I don't think George Russell will be driving that Mercedes Silver Arrow. Hey guys, this is RD Techie. This is going to be a different video from all the other ones I've done. This is going to start a kind of a trend on motorsport videos and F1 videos in this channel, and I'm very excited. So if you want to see more F1 content and motorsport content in general, please make sure you hit that sub button so we can stay up to date with the news. I can't believe I did that. But moving on, the topic of the video today is the hot topic of discussion in motorsport right now. It's George Russell's contract, it's Valtteri Bottas' contract, and that second Mercedes seat, with Lewis Hamilton signing a 2-year deal that keeps him with the team till 2023. So 2023 is going to be his last season as right now, in Mercedes GP, and that means we have one seat left to fill for the next season, the big season, the 2022 season coming up with Formula One. So let's start with the reasons why I don't think George Russell will be driving that Mercedes Silver Arrow, which is kind of like a black Silver Arrow, I guess now. It's not really silver so much, but whatever. George Russell will not be driving a Mercedes car in the next season. The first reason is very simple. Mercedes will be gun shy. They have a past experience of having two very equal drivers in their car. They did not enjoy that experience. Toto actually inherited that driver pairing of Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton. He did not form it. He did not like dealing with them, and I think it even scarred Toto a little bit, to the point where if you see any interview in the off the grid section or anything of the sort where he's asked about how it feels to take care of drivers, he keeps referring to them as they're kind of like children.
They are little traumatized kids that they were left in a go-kart in the rain and were sent out to kind of drive around fearful. And so you have to manage and cope with a lot of psyche.
And I think that relationship and that team dynamic that Rosberg Hamilton had in Mercedes is going to make Mercedes a little gun shy trying to bring in George, who is by all means, as far as they're concerned, the next Hamilton. And George is definitely talented. He's a future world champion. I think it's a matter of when rather than if he wins the title, as far as I'm concerned, because he's driving at a very high level right now with a team that has no business of being in the points. He's taken them in the points. He's consistently done that with multiple years, but Mercedes will be gun shy to bring in that kind of a dynamic again to Hamilton, especially with Red Bull being as strong as they are right now. Speaking of Red Bull, that brings me to the second point. It's kind of a weird point, and I don't see it mentioned anywhere, but I thought I would. A lot of it would have depended on Checo's performance at Red Bull, how he integrated. Now, this might seem really weird. Why would Mercedes decide anything based on how Checo is performing or integrating into the team? But you got to think of it in a broader frame or picture. If Checo had come into Red Bull, they had a problem adjusting him. Next season, they were guaranteed to get another driver, a new driver like Red Bull seems to be having with their revolving door of drivers. And it's very possible that Mercedes would have been like, you know what? That's going to be another fresh pairing next year. They also need to get used to it. But with the way Checo's performing, it's pretty clear that he's going to be there next year. I mean, Horner, even at during Austrian GP, he actually said during, hey, it's just a matter of having a conversation. It's a quick conversation. There's time to be had. Of course, we're not jumping into it, but it's just a matter of a quick conversation. Neither party are worried about coming into terms or anything like that. So it makes me feel like they're pretty much sold on Checo, and with the 2022 rule change and everything, it's good to have that consistency, because let's face it, if you are going up against Red Bull, who are a very, very strong team right now, no doubt about it, their car's performing, the engine's performing, and Mercedes is playing catch-up. Would you want to go up against an established team, an established driver pairing, with an unknown driver pairing? Russell is known in Mercedes, no doubt. He's been their test driver, he's been their youth program, he knows the team inside out. He's not been an equal driver as Lewis yet. He replaced Lewis. He didn't replace Valtteri. If he replaced Valtteri, we would have had a little bit of a teaser, but he didn't. He replaced Lewis at Bahrain last year. He impressed, no doubt. But when Red Bull has a stable, conditioned team, it may make Mercedes feel less energetic, less impulsive when it comes to change. Mercedes knows Valtteri. Valtteri knows Lewis. Lewis wants and knows Valtteri. That's the bottom line. But Mercedes knows George. Lewis knows George. Valtteri, well, it wouldn't matter if George is replacing Valtteri. The fact is, Mercedes doesn't know what would happen between George and Lewis. And that's a risk they might not want to take with Red Bull being so comfortable at the moment. Now, I admit, it's kind of a weird point to bring up because it has nothing to do with Mercedes, really. But when you are facing a team that is literally firing in all cylinders, you have to look at every possible factor. And that's why I think Checo settling in, getting his first race win even in Baku, yeah, and the circumstances were different, but he did an amazing job. He's an amazing, consistent driver. And if he can get locked into that Red Bull, Mercedes is gonna need two drivers that play the same team game to have any chance. And that's why I think that's another reason that'll go against George as far as Mercedes' seat for 2022 is concerned. Sticking with 2022 and the whole fact of the regulation change, that itself, I think, is one reason you don't want any change in the driver setup and the driver lining. And this is something I feel across the board with all the F1 teams. I don't think you're going to see some big shakeups happening. We saw a lot of shakeups and changes happening in 2021 for the 2021 season. 2022 has a lot of changes happening already, with be it on the regulation front, the budget cap, or be it on the aerodynamics, the engines, whatever it may be. There's so many regulation changes happening. There's such a huge paradigm shift as far as F1 is concerned. And the last time we had something like this, I think, was 2009. So it's a huge shift compared to what the past 4 or 5 years has been. So the things you can control and keep consistent and keep same, you would definitely want to do that. You want to keep it, you want to have things that are variables you can't depend on and variables that you can. So there's a good chance that goes straight in favor of Valtteri. They know how Valtteri behaves in every sort of situation there is. Even when he hates giving up the place to Lewis, they know he will. They know if they put it in a way, he cares about the team to do it. I am not saying George won't or George doesn't. Again, this is just, if I'm looking at it from Mercedes' point of view, you want to keep anything you can consistent across these 2 seasons as possible. But honestly, I don't think that even compares to the reason, I think, one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, why I think George is not going to make the move. And it's honestly, I tried to not make this the main reason. I really did try. I thought of it in every angle, but it was just so clear. Lewis Hamilton's 2-year contract, to me, says he is getting ready for 2022. And he's been very vocal. He's never said Russell's a bad driver, never at all. I mean, in fact, even back in the day, he actually said, I would like to give Russell my drive when I retire, when Russell was a junior driver at Mercedes. But what that 2-year term tells me is that Mercedes had to negotiate. I'm guessing Mercedes wants 1 year of Hamilton and Russell, at least, before Hamilton retires. Hamilton wants one proper year of a charge to the World Drivers' Championship. He wants to go out on top, and I can't blame him. He's been on top for so long. It's going to be hard if he had to go on with Max taking the title. The point that he has 2 years makes me feel like the next year, 2022, with all the changes, all the reasons I've mentioned. But the biggest thing would be, Hamilton would have told Mercedes, you know what, you give me 2022. You give me a chance to go at Red Bull, to go at Ferrari, whoever's the main dudes at 2022, with the team I want, with the team I know I can perform, with the team I'm comfortable with Valtteri in second. 2023, I'll give you 2023. You bring in Russell, I will mentor him, I will prepare him, I'll make him the next big thing. Now, obviously, this is conjecture, but this is what makes the sport so awesome. This part of the sport, especially, is the rumors, the theories, the ideas. It's what drives Formula One in a way. And if you haven't, this is. I get excited when silly season starts. I know a huge part of the population that watches F1 want George in that second Mercedes seat, especially if you're a fan of George. I am not a fan of George, but I have nothing but respect for him. Well, let me change that. I wasn't a fan of George, but his driving has won me over. His driving, his consistency, his attitude when you lose out on points with the DNF, that has won me over. Valtteri is one of my favorite drivers on the grid. If you tell me he's a weak driver, I will just not agree with you. Because his season in points, yeah, he might not have been a very strong finish, but he's been asked to move aside for Lewis. He's got a DNF because of the pit stop in Monaco, where he had a chance to be P2, P3, at least. I don't think it's a fair assessment to say Valtteri is weak. I think Valtteri is not having the best season he's had, I agree. But it's not just a matter of him not performing. It's a lot of factors. In Baku, he had a terrible qualifying because he was towing Lewis. He literally took one for the team, and that's what Lewis wants. You can like George as much as you want and as much as you admire him and, and all that. I don't think there's many people on that grid that would do that for a teammate and risk your own position. So I can see why Lewis would want Valtteri there. The key thing here, I feel, is Mercedes doesn't have to make George happy in 2021. They just have to make sure Williams makes him content for 1 year before they can take him and give him the drive he's always wanted and deserves. Throughout this video, I just want to mention, I don't say who deserves what, because I feel like when you're at that level, anyone on the grid deserves that seat. But even with that, I will say that George definitely deserves a proper leading car run. Although I have to say it would be very epic if he took that Williams and took it to the top and reclaim the glory days for the team. That's a whole other video right there. But that's what I'm saying. It's not that I don't want him to have it. It's not that I want Valtteri to have it. It's not that I don't want Valtteri to try in Williams. These are just the reasons that stood out to me when I'm considering, are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? And if I was Mercedes, I wouldn't do it. But who knows? By the time this video goes up, it'll probably be proven wrong. Maybe George has already signed a contract and we learn about it tomorrow in the news. I don't know. But that is what makes these kind of videos so much fun to do. And you will see a lot of these. Some might be wrong. Some might be very, very wrong. Some might be all right. Completely, that's right about okay. It's not perfect, but kind of there. You can see what it goes going. So hopefully I made you think. I made you see a different perspective on the thing. And, well, hopefully I didn't bore you to death. If you're still here and you're not bored to death, please, again, just want to remind you, hit that, sub button. If I did bore you to death, hit that dislike. YouTube likes it either way. It's kind of kinky like that. This is already techie. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye.